Welcome, everybody. We are now on to part 2 of episode 4 of the White Cloaks rewatch. We're joined again by our special guest, Kala. We just had a bit of a drink break, so what did you guys fill up on? I I polished off a whiskey, and I think I need to go back to wine or else I'll die. But Pips,
I am back to my Redbreast 12 Irish whiskey.
nice. Alex,
I switched from Liney's Honeyweiss to Liney's Berryweiss. So
nice. And now, Kala, have you imbibed anything caffeinated? I know it's getting pretty late where you're at,
Oh
but
no, I actually had a decent amount of seltzer, but I'm still the sober one on this crew. For some definitions of sober anyway.
you're suffering more than we are, though,
That
and
is
probably
true.
for longer. So we've made it through the first sixth of this episode. It took us a little bit longer, but this episode is the longest one by runtime. But we are going to try and get through the first third of this. We kind of made it through some pretty shitty scenes, but we got some pretty shitty ones coming up. So maybe we advance and see if we can't knock this out in under an hour.
Press. Let's do it.
Okay, what's coming up here is
Yeah,
all kinds of ridiculous.
say, who wants to cover the world's stupidest weapon?
just
I do.
just play
I
it.
do.
I don't. We can't. Uh, choreographed bullshit.
Who the fuck practices fighting like that? When would you actually have that pose in any type of fight, right? Your weapon's
Um,
out wide, you're down on one knee, and you're leaving your shoulders broad and exposed to get hit by
this
everything.
is actually practicing sheathing the sword.
That's the only thing that this could be.
He's suiciding himself in order to then stab somebody in the
Yeah.
ribs.
And ADO is making a good point in the chat. If they're practicing, why aren't they dueling each other?
Well, they don't have practice swords.
Pick up a fucking stick from the woods for
Do
crying out
they
loud.
do they make practice axes?
Not these kind, because these kinds of axes are the stupidest fucking weapons in the history of weapon making.
All right.
How's life at the tower?
Oh my fucking god.
The hand sweep. You gotta.
All right,
What is
Kala,
that? What is
Kala,
that?
I'm gonna give you first go at this weapon. Go.
No.
Okay.
Why does he have?
No.
Why does he
Why?
have so
What
many
is that?
straps?
What?
It's a double.
It's
It's a double-bladed hand axe.
it's a double.
With-
It's not a hand axe. It's a bearded axe. That's not even a.
Yes.
There's no
Yeah.
support for it. If you
I
threw
know.
that at something,
It would break.
it would break. There's no support. It's a bearded axe. Honestly,
And it's
honestly,
twinned, right?
it
Because
is twin.
the whole thing behind like the double bladed or twinned axe in and of itself is a kind of a stupid weapon.
Look at that horrifying grip.
Yes.
It
And
looks
spike,
like
yeah.
oh my, it's spiked at both ends. Why?
It's
What?
not spiked. There's no stabbing potential
No,
with that
no, no.
weapon.
Just
It
he's
doesn't
talking about
matter
the
stabbing
point.
potential. If you
Yeah.
hit yourself with it because you're wielding it like a moron, it's still gonna hurt.
I'm just
Well,
gonna
I
throw
was
out
thinking
here.
like
The
if it was
most
spiked, you might be able to sort of use it like a dagger. It could just be like a really shitty dagger, but it's not
I
even
would
viable for that.
I'd rather have like shaving razor than that as a weapon. I'd be
Controversial
more dan-
take.
I'd be more dangerous to myself with that thing than to an enemy.
Yeah.
Controversial
Because
take. If that axe was actually a double-sided handguard and that point was a dagger, it'd be a better weapon.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, you're
Honestly,
100% right. You could sort of like use it as like a short dagger, and then you could almost use it like brass knuckles, like
It'd be
with the
brass
blade
knuckles
on
with
the
a
end.
dagger.
okay, so I'll tell you what though, if you ask me what possible use you could have for that as a weapon, that would be an interesting offhanded weapon as like a pseudo sword breaker, right? If you trapped a sword inside one of the beards over there, that'd be an interesting offhand weapon.
Wouldn't you immediately lose your fingers without some kind of handguard?
Yeah.
Yes,
Also,
absolutely.
it's too short.
Absolutely.
You'd have almost no real leverage against it. It's too short. So
No,
they
the point of a sword breaker isn't to leverage. It's kind of like a sweep thing. You
yeah, but
catch a blade and sweep it aside.
yeah, but then in order to actually disarm the sword, right, you need to have some leverage in order to twist on it. And his hand is too close to it, and he'd have to twist his wrist with the way that that's configured.
Guys, let's be honest. Stepan
Right,
has never been in a fight in his life.
Probably not, and you can't twist your wrist with those gauntlets that high up. What is that even?
With 4 straps.
Well,
Probably a bracer to defend his forearms from the back blade of the axe that would kind of cut into him if he ever hit something with the far side.
no,
Right?
I've
This
worn
is
more
why
realistic bracers than that.
these axes do not like. You get a battle axe of any type, you don't have the same design on both sides, especially not like a sharp blade kind of like you have an axe and a spike because you get dual versatility out of that, right? You don't get an axe like this. If anything, you just end up anything bouncing back comes back and chops at you. Like
Certainly, you lose versatility, right? The idea behind an axe with a spike is that against something that is unarmored or lightly armored, you have an axe, which is great, and then against something that is armored, you have the spike, which is pretty reasonable.
Right, versatility is king in combat. You always want to have as many options as possible.
All right,
and
let's
like if
let's move
This
on.
gives you
is
zero.
terrible.
This does give you zero options. This is
it,
I feel like
and
Shad right now.
I
Just
know,
pick up
but
a stick and use it. A stick
I
is a
know, I know. But here's the thing: he doesn't just have one of them; he's got fucking 2 of them, and they're identical. So take the stupidity of this and double it, because that's what this idiot carries.
I mean, it is good foreshadowing because this character is an idiot. He is he's dumb. There's
But he
no
does.
other way of, there's no other way of putting it. He's just a moron.
All right, so
He doesn't die in combat, though.
if in the books,
Unfortunately,
if Loyal or Loyal was Robert Jordan's self-inject into the books, is Stepan Rafe Judkins self-insert into the books or into the
It would be
show?
accurate.
no, that's going to be Gawain, because Gawain is going to go join
Oh,
Alana and Ivan and Maxim, and
No,
he's going to finish the airtight hole,
that's going to be actual inserting. We're talking about
or
self-inserting.
he's going to daisy chain with them.
Or
It's
Gawain.
going to get disgusting.
Uh,
Yeah, or Avienda,
hip play.
and I'm canceled.
Tried to handle them. And the Amelin seat still seated.
Nice politics, you idiots.
From the rain, though. I heard her threatened to fetch you two home, personally.
So here's my theory about the Heron-mark swords. The only person we've seen who wields a Heron-mark sword, really, other than right here in a practice session, is Dana the Dark Friend. Do you think they made the Heron-mark sword a shitty kind of mid between a katana and a wakizashi, precisely so that she could wield it? And that if they actually did a proper Heron-mark sword, like from the Shadiversity videos, like there is that one really good replica blade, not the one I have, a better one, bigger, longer, kind of two-handed sword. It would have been too difficult for her to wield.
We'll post a link to the video of the guy who makes that in the comments section when we post this on YouTube.
Because this is a cheap fucking katana.
I think they were relying entirely on the one woman to give them all of their lore details. And I'm just going to say it, I don't think that the specific details of the weapons was sort of what she cared about when reading those books. So when asked about the specifics of any sort of weapon, her response was just sort of an I don't know shrug.
Or she was inserting her own Japanese heritage. Like, why that? It's not a fucking katana. But anyways.
Katanas are so lazy.
Does anybody want to talk about the sword flip that just happened, or should we just
No, it
gloss
just
over that?
no.
Let's just-
I laughed at it. That's all it's worth. It's just
What's going on
That's
here?
a good trick.
It
Right.
he bounced the sword off the ground and then recaught it. It's the stupidest thing that's ever been done with a sword. This I love that
Dune
they're
did,
I love that
Dune
they're
did this
Normal
better.
mantelpiece is foam.
I love that they're dueling with their actual weapons and like steel against this dude's throat. Like that's a good way to freaking kill somebody. Like what?
Where's your blade, Lan?
The
At,
only
at
thing that has
the
been a
bare
dumber
we,
sparring
minimum.
we got to get moving, or else I'm gonna die of alcohol
the
poisoning.
only
We
dumber
gotta keep
sparring
going.
session
For
that we've
Dane's liver.
seen was from Kenobi with them sparring with lightsabers.
Understood your taste in traveling companions. She's not a companion. Oh. Barely company. Probably stubborn as a mule, too.
Ugh.
Power Rangers.
Okay, so I'm just gonna point this out. If a sword hit the top of that double axe guard, both of those axes would cut through his own wrists.
He's definitely losing a hand.
Fucking Steppen. I thought he was the worst character of all time. He's somehow worse.
Oh man.
Cheap trick.
What?
Thought the next chip was yours.
Why would he hold them like that? How is he supposed to draw those?
He's not.
How many times do you think they had Lan try and sheathe that sword with that motion before giving up and just having him hold it like that?
Probably 10, but there are enough backscabbered Shadowversity videos to kind of point out how completely impractical the backscabbard that Lan has is. Like, it's virtually impossible to try and sheath that way.
I think Shad actually gave him bonus points for having the peg on there, but yeah, it is pretty dumb.
I have nothing but respect for Marine.
Ugh.
But this scene is like, if you were to tell me that this scene was from House of the Dragon, first of all, I would believe you because I have no idea who these characters would be in Wheel of Time just from looking at them. But my response would just basically be like, okay, this seems sort of Game of Thrones like if Game of Thrones had horrific lighting. Like, I don't, this is what I came away with from watching this scene.
Said I.
Well, I'm sure your shifts together will pass quickly then.
Even if we had something in common, I'd never know it.
It's like they purposely did casting calls for the least attractive women on the planet. I'm sorry.
Characterization by proxy is awesome.
You're being sarcastic?
No, all right, yes, 100%.
Okay.
We now,
But
we now
first,
know for
what,
the
what
last-
percentage of the wig budget went into this chick's hair?
Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, based on the last two comments we've learned from Aes Sedai, we know that Moraine is both extremely quiet, despite leading the show in words spoken by massive amounts. She's also extremely kind and selfless, despite having seen her murk a guy. So
Lan is just as bad when he wants to be. Can you imagine the dinners?
This is where they tell you that Lan is stoic and the strong silent type, because that's not what we've
We
seen on
haven't-
screen.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't seen it.
Leandrin is gaining traction with the others.
We won't gentle again without a trial.
Oh, God.
Reds have been doing just that across the countryside.
So now Steppen is saying the Reds have been gentling people up and down the countryside.
Yeah,
So Steppen knows that the Reds are going outside of Tower of Law.
yeah. Lan told him because
Moraine
he's
does too.
not the strong silent type.
So what is the political intrigue here?
well, the political intrigue is we're all wondering if anybody is going to say anything to the Amerlin seat because apparently everybody knows.
It's the worst kept secret outside of Moraine and Swan scissoring.
Oh my God.
Even
Uh,
won't cross the Amulet seat.
Okay, well, now that we've established Karini is an idiot.
No, I think that what this is establishing is that Logain specifically needs to have a trial, but apparently the Aes Sedai can just go around and do the vileness willy-nilly. But if someone declared themselves a false dragon and thought to march on Tarvalon, maybe they need a trial. But
no, we know that's not true because we know she murked the guy at the beginning in the prologue, and we know that Karini is saying even Leandrin wouldn't go against the Amerlin seat and doing exactly what we saw her do.
well, no, this is what I'm wondering is if the Amerlin's orders are only specific to Logain.
They're not, because he's told her they're doing it all over the countryside, to which her response was, they wouldn't do that. That would be going against the Amerlin seat's orders.
Okay, I'll watch this again on the rewatch of the rewatch. I don't want you to go back.
I'm trust me, we're not going anywhere.
Then they're completely contradicting themselves.
Dane, stop talking during the video playback.
My bad.
We're trying to hear the shit dialogue.
Are we though?
Drink every time you see a white person with dreadlocks.
I'll try and find a thumbnail for you, dude. Dogs barking. Baron's the suspicious one.
If either of us feels like we should go, we go. No
I like how she interrupts Perrin. Like even the show doesn't care what he thinks.
Tells it.
Drink.
To join us for as long as you can stand us.
Wait, what's the drinking game?
I mean, he's not technically white, but he does have like an Irish accent, so
Without food.
Irish accent with dreads. Drink.
Your bandits, you're not very good ones.
Shut up, Aaron.
Often villagers come down from the mountains of mist.
We're from Whitebridge. We got separated from the trading caravan.
Is that so?
Fucking Isla.
Close your mouth.
Pause right there. Pause right there.
Wait, okay, yeah, no,
Uh.
we're supposed to drink every time he closes his mouth, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Call-
think we
call
got
out,
it.
how would
Okay.
you play the game? Like, if
Pa-
we're
pause
trying
here,
to
pause
get
here, pause here.
drunker,
Oh, is that the objective here?
Damn it, Alex, pause. You waited until after the wagons were off the shot. I was trying to bring up the fact that we had basically their whole caravan in one shot, and like nobody was wearing colorful clothing. Just drab, just drab as fuck. Like, ugh. Like, why wouldn't you make the Tinkers have colorful clothing? Why?
because then you could tell where they were from. Whereas all you can tell from where someone's from is their dress and their accent.
Fuck off, show.
At least they all had dreadlocks. Drone shot. Yeah.
I don't think that was a drone shot. I think that was CGI.
Where did they get horses?
Maybe the Red Aja lost a pair. I don't know.
Matt went from being a horse trader to being a fucking horse thief. That's what happened here.
I think they legitimately make that comment.
Punishable by death in a medieval setting.
Oh man.
Rand's line coming up here is just impeccable.
What's this Gleeman doing with us?
Didn't you fucking live the show an episode ago? He explained what he's doing with you, you dumb fuck. No, but seriously, horse watch. These three horses, we saw them in like episode 1, right?
Yeah, they're all
three
the
black
same.
horses.
They're all the same horses.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
One of these horses is Bella.
And one of them's Cloud. And fucking Tom's on Mandarb. Just look for the hairy fetlocks. It'll totally be Mandarb.
All right.
I'm really happy about the implication that Rand has been writing Tom for like 12 hours now, and has just now thought to like pose this question to Matt. Like,
It's the
What is
next.
this
It's the
Gleeman doing
next
with us?
day.
It is the laziest possible writing of, hey, audience, we assume you guys are a bunch of dumb idiots who don't have the attention span to remember what Tom is doing with you. So let's have the viewpoint character say, hey, everyone, what's Tom doing with us? Well, Rand, Tom is with your party because y'all are a bunch of idiots who can't be trusted to go 5 feet.
So this goes into something, and I won't spend too much time on this, but like so many of the sins committed by this show only make sense when you remember that like filmmakers nowadays are shooting and creating films with the expectation that their audience is just fucking around playing Angry Birds while the show is on the screen.
The only reason we're fucking around playing Angry Birds while the show's on the screen is because these shows are so fucking retarded.
Oh,
I
I
need to
agree.
play Angry Birds
It's a
in order to.
self-licking ice cream cone. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you make a garbage
It's a
show
chicken
that's
egg
not,
thing. It's a
yeah,
chicken egg, right?
it's not worth watching the show, and so you don't watch the show, and then they have to dumb it down because you're not paying attention, and then you don't pay attention because it's dumb. But they
Yeah.
just went in right off episode 1 and they made a show that's not worth watching.
Yeah.
I think it's so bad. There's even an episode recap at the beginning of this. That's 15 minutes ago. Like, Jesus.
Well, people always skip the recaps like we did.
Yeah, that's true. They come up with the button and it says skip recap.
You did save our lives.
Oh my fucking.
Did he? Dana said there were dark friends everywhere. That a fate was coming for us. What if he killed her to make us trust him?
The fuck.
Smart.
How would that be smart, man? You were
Yeah.
captive.
Yeah.
You weren't going anywhere.
If one dark friend had you totally captive because you totally couldn't just turn around and run away the other direction, totally open. If one dark friend had you captive, the other dark friend would kill the first one to gain your trust to capture you.
So you could escape.
This scene literally accomplishes nothing. They legitimately had this in here because they were like, man, are we really going to go 35 consecutive minutes without Rand in this episode?
So wait, here's a question. You felt bad for David Hill for writing this? Do you wish to retract that statement? I can tell by your awkward pause that you kind of do.
I'm gonna
I'm
give
pondering.
I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna do my best.
You were
Alex
saying
impression.
David Hill had the fucking script of 1, 2, 3, and he probably read that and he's like, okay, what can I do with it?
Yeah, I'm gonna give.
He is here. He's hearkening back to the old episode, being like, he stole our money, but he did save us. But he did say there were dark friends everywhere. And wouldn't a dark friend kill another dark friend to try and gain our trust? That's smart. Like, this is the most ridiculous thing in the show so far.
I'm gonna play out my best Alex impression here while he's pondering, which is that he watched the first 3 episodes, realized that not a single audience member stayed awake and or sober all the way through episode 3, and was like, I'm gonna have to remind everyone in like the dumbest down, most condensed, silly version of what the hell happened. So he knew that you didn't actually watch episode 3, and he knows that you skipped the recap, and he's like, shit.
What I was going to say was like the you know in the script notes it basically says like what they're allowed to do. And so you're just sort of like, well, I guess I have to like fill time. Like these characters have to speak lines, but they're not, they're not really allowed to like characterize at all.
These people
and
have
Tripp's
to
mentioning
form
in the
words
chat
into
is you could have actually done some world building in something like this. You could have had them kind of lament about home, or do some type of like line about it's like, oh man, I wish I was back at home with Tam and seeing to rebuilding the farm, or we'd be picking the apples off the orchard right about now, or fucking anything. Like,
I just want to say I appreciate Matt doing the actor here doing the best acting that we've seen in the show. he is channeling the audience watching this show with that facial
Yeah.
expression.
So here's the thing. I want to get Kalla's view on this, right? There have been a lot of theories as to what happened with Matt's actor. And we're seeing the pain on his face, like literally right here, freeze framed. He's got eyes closed, mouth is open, and you can tell he knows what he just said was the most retarded thing he said in his life.
Like, this is
Do you
so
think
dumb.
do you think that Matt left for creative reasons, or was there something else? Like people have theorized that there was sexual abuse or drug abuse or some other nasty thing, or they even said it was COVID related, but that makes no sense. I honestly think maybe he quit because he realized that this was hot garbage. What's your view, dude?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I'd love to believe that someone working for the show could actually see this for the for the absolute dreck fest that it was. But on the other hand, they had a massive budget, and I have no idea how much of that budget went to his salary. But um,
200K tops.
I
Yeah, they
mean,
didn't get paid much.
200K is a decent amount, even. But yeah,
Yeah, if you're
no,
in your early 20s,
Relative
but
to
I no. If I had to guess, I would say something happened behind the scenes, and he left because of that. Honestly, you might see a repeat of that with the second season, where a whole bunch more people leave because
drugs or sex abuse or
yes to all the above. I'm not accusing. Let it be known that I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but I will
don't
say,
worry, you
where
have a
there's
suit now.
smoke, there's fire.
Hey,
Dude, I
you're
used
allowed to make
fucking
baseless
cactus dildo from
accusations.
Eldan just a little while ago. Or sorry, that was done. But
You're allowed to
anyways,
make
sorry.
baseless accusations of sexual assault. That's permissible. You're just not allowed to not believe baseless accusations of sexual assault.
based.
Uh,
Oh,
No,
only a horse
Cancelled.
can get away with saying that.
legitimately, I think the most realistic option is dude just was fucking sick of the Czech Republic and like was just done with it.
Just anyway, the only reason I brought it up is quite honestly here, you can see the pain on his face, and no actor is that good. Especially not in a scene where he's not supposed to be feeling pain. But neither here nor there. I agree. This is a pretty fucking stupid scene.
Yeah, it's rough, and I am retracting the apology.
Maybe there's
David
nothing
Hill,
to
you're a
it,
hack.
It was season 5 of Game of Thrones, one of the bad ones.
It's where it started, right?
Dragon could be one of 5 of us.
Get back to the horse meme.
Me, you, Heron, Gwen. Who else?
Oh, the fifth. So they're bringing that up. And then they happen to cut back to this idiot who's
I was gonna say,
40.
do we give them
He's
credit for attempting a misdirection cut?
We had what?
no, no
We had
credit.
2.5 minutes of Rand and Matt, and then just back to the main character.
back to Moraine, and oh, who could be the fifth dragon? And it happens to be this 40-year-old guy. When again, we've established the only thing Moraine is discerned is that she knows the dragon is 20. Doesn't know who
So
they are, what gender they are, where they were born, etc. She just knows 20 because she's been failing at her mission for 20 years. And then they cut to a 43-year-old guy in a cage.
I will give them credit only when credit is due. It's not due here. I pointed this out last time. They're trying to give Logain all this religious imagery and make you believe that maybe he could be the dragon, but no one would buy it. There's no purchase here whatsoever. You know he's not.
I
And
know. Because you have a fandom of book readers, right?
I,
It's not even that. It's
even
you wouldn't
even
introduce the dragon in episode 4. Like,
even if you didn't have an army of book readers, everything that's been introduced in the show so far has given the clear indication that Logain is not the dragon, and the dragon is someone from Edmund's Field.
I'm
There's
just
no right. There's no
I know.
point in
No, no,
now
I
if he's
agree.
gonna be the dragon.
I'm pouring new
Nice.
alcohol. I'm getting fucking sloshed.
Wait,
Don't worry, I'll
good-
rage before the end of this.
Good
I
audio
think.
capture on the pour. It was good.
Thanks.
I always knew
Expensive mic.
men's weaves, but the experience itself.
She just confirmed that women
Uh,
can't see men's weaves.
Okay.
Just
Hey,
don't think about it. Just
Don't think about it?
Don't think about it. Just
Master, you fucking what the
Dan, you're cutting in
Why
and out.
does
Is that
Lorraine
thunderstorm rolling
always
through?
stand up and walk?
You remember that dog you had
fuck?
when we were novices?
Hey guys,
Fucking
Lorraine
stop.
loves animals. Isn't she great?
Listening. She wasn't mine.
But
We
it-
might- we might have to continue this without Dane. It sounds like his data connection is going to shit.
I presume Karene's asked you to use our friendship to get information out of me.
Not for a day or two still, when you're expecting a class.
Subtle. You could have easily been blue, Aja. Please. One water would never do.
Anybody want to take that, or are we just gonna keep moving?
I mean, it's fine. It's probably fine. Just don't worry about it.
She's
Can you
Alana.
guys hear me?
Oh, we can hear you now.
Now, yeah.
Okay, so I was cutting out in the middle there.
Yeah.
But I wanted to
You're still breaking up.
So heroic.
And he's cutting out again.
mention a couple of things here. Have a connection. Cats holding a bath. Is that fucking ridiculous?
Yes, it is. It is antithetical to what they're showing us. The implication seems to be it's fairly easy. You just have to sit there and hold your power in place, whereas holding a cat in a bath is requires, I'm assuming, quite a bit of
Did I
dexterity.
to say like that they like. It's also animal cruelty.
Yeah, that is a bit of an implication there, isn't it?
And the whole dogs thing, like dogs don't like Aes Sedai.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too. But let's be honest, they're never going to get that detailed into the lore. The whole dogs and cats thing? No way.
No. See, I guess this right here was kind of what I was sort of giving him some credit for, was that we're sort of lore accurate here in the sense that people are aware of the last battle, the green Aja are the warrior Aja. Like we have slipped a little bit of lore accuracy in here. We're getting some description of the Aja's specified rules.
Yeah.
Those dragons before. Women and men who've claimed the title for power or personal gain.
So that line, that was some bad ADR.
The women and men false dragons?
The entire line was a post ad.
Yeah.
How does a woman even?
His strength is more than anything I've ever seen.
Holly, you were gonna ask how a woman becomes the dragon?
False dragon. I'm more now interested in that curse she just used. Right. So
I-
she just said Balsamon, which is kind of like saying, I guess it's the equivalent of saying like
Did-
Satan take it in this world.
Did she really? I totally missed that.
I'm pretty sure she just said Balsamon, which is
Can we
such
go
a
back a little bit?
weird.
I know I never say that.
Alex, roll it back like 5 seconds. This is just such a good point.
His strength is
It was right before that.
It's just another side or personal gain. False or no?
Oh,
False
false
or
or
no.
no.
False,
Oh my
false
goodness.
or
Okay, I
no.
misheard
Okay.
that.
I was gonna
That's
say.
okay. So wait, can I pause and give Kala some credit here?
Yeah.
So we have actively tried to come up with ways that this show could be worse if you tried. Right? And I firmly believe that episode 8, there is no way that anyone could make that worse than it actually was. Like even if they were being deliberate. However, I think here, false or no, if that was balsamon, like a kind of an expletive that the Aes Sedai were saying, that would be stupider than what they actually said.
It would
But
be.
this is a rare instance where that would have been true. And Kala, I think that's a phenomenal insight from you, in all seriousness, because it's very, very rare to come up either on the spot, accidentally, with forethought or otherwise, of how this crap mine could actually get any shittier.
Right.
So hat tip.
Sure.
The end of this age.
Man, her costume is so stupid.
Impractical for the amount she gets DP'd too.
Eh.
It is, and we find ourselves at the last battle.
I just want to point out, I don't think there are any
I'm glad to have
clasps
your
on those
strength
chains
alongside.
across her front. So she gets into that jacket like it's a shirt.
I hate marine shoulder pads.
Is it dumber than the bells though?
The number of people who were so happy about the bells in her hair.
Well,
I just
she is our felon, but whatever. Yeah, Lord Dunn is saying in the chat, apparently there were supposed to be female false dragons.
yes.
Well, I guess, do we want to get into the topic of female false
No,
dragons here and why that's
no,
completely
no,
asinine?
no.
We all agree it's
I
stupid.
don't think I'd survive. I think we all agree it's.
We don't have enough
Oh my
time.
god, they're gonna gender swap Rowland Darksbane to like Raven Darksbane. That's so Raven.
Oh, yes.
Here are their fucking eggs. So again, is he almost getting burned out from that shield, or what's the? Never mind. I don't care.
Jenny. That was the name.
Who names a dog
Of the-
Jenny?
The dog who wasn't your dog.
You had sex with that dog, didn't you, Alana? You fucking
Aren't Aes
sick, twisted.
Sedai not able to lie?
That,
Yeah, but
that's
this was when she was
kind of a rule.
This was
The
when she was a
sentence,
novice.
"The dog that wasn't your dog." That's a very blatant.
No, it's
I
the
don't-
dog
I don't-
was supposed to be her dog as a novice or an accepted, and so she probably at the time lied about it being her dog when she could lie. I think that's the inside conversation. That's
No,
not an offensive line to me.
Moraine explicitly says it wasn't my dog because she considers herself to have not owned it, even though
Yeah.
it just followed her around everywhere, which is fine. That's very typical Aes Sedai lying.
Yeah.
But then Alana can't say your dog that wasn't your dog because that's acknowledging the fact that it's a lie.
Eh,
I'm just pointing that out. That's probably not something an Aes Sedai could say.
I'm more offended by
There's
whatever we're
so
seeing
much
on the
more
scene right
that
now.
Aes Sedai couldn't say in the show that they end up saying.
That's true.
Like, I did not kill the ferryman. Yes, you did. You totally fucking ganked him. You're a murderess, Moraine. You're a murderess,
Oh
and you're an
right.
idiot.
I need to remember that Moraine in the show is a terrible person. Alana,
Question about this
Alana in the
shaft.
book is a terrible person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're gonna fix her character in the show. Don't worry about that.
Fix.
Fucking airtight. That's all I'm saying. When you think of Alana, think airtight. She's gonna have like no hole in her that's not plugged with a dick.
Does Ragnar have his black woman character eating fried chicken?
Yes, that's why I said like that's
I thought that was a pastry.
No. It is. That's why when we were talking about this, I was like, I'm more offended by what's happening on screen. We've talked about this.
Where's her grape soda? Where's her fucking grape soda? Are they
We've
going
talked
there?
about this. That Ragnar is the most racist person involved
Where-
in any modern production.
She's gonna find some watermelon, isn't she? Like, oh, for fuck's sake, fried chicken. God damn it. God damn it, Alex. You win this
chicken.
episode. You win this episode, sir. And you're allowed to say that because you're black, right?
I like your braid.
Clearly a lie.
She is the worst case of RBF I've ever seen.
Oh man.
Is that really a face though, or is that a mask? Because I don't think those cheekbones are natural.
I think it's a Tetris piece, but
I mean, there's some makeup enhancement, but it's mostly natural.
Ugh.
That's because
Again,
you
what I
don't
said.
speak.
Yeah, okay. So here's a point. This is the first time that Leandrin's heard Nynaeve speak. She calls Leandrin out on it.
Mm-hmm.
So how could Leandrin have said what she said? Because it would have been a lie.
Well, she's Black Aja, so that works.
Okay. All right. I got to remember that. But again, if they conflate Elida and Leandrin,
It'll be a
or basically
absolute
merge the characters,
shitstorm.
it might kind of go off. But touche, horse pips.
I'm imagining you came over here because you want something. You I said I always do.
Wants to munch your box.
So I'll ask the questions first. Depending on how well you answer, maybe I'll give you what you want.
Which is me munching
Can we
your
just,
box.
yeah, this is a good pause. Do you guys remember the first time we actually see Leandrin, which I think is in the beginning of The Great Hunt, and we see her absolutely just like running roughshod over Agelmar's sister?
Annalisa, she compulses him, and that's foreshadowing for when you see her the next time when she tries to compulse Rand in the dungeon.
So the idea that Leandrin's character would take shit from fucking Nynaeve right here.
right?
Well, Sneed in the chat is making a good point. Does Leandrin know that Nynaeve can channel here?
Doesn't even matter. Literally doesn't matter.
But
she hates Wilders, so even if she knows she can channel, she would have absolutely no respect for her whatsoever. In fact, more disdain. And then
but
on
if
top
she's
of
just
that,
a woman who came along, right, and can't channel, why is she even interested? Right? So all of this kind of implies, like, why would Leandrin and Leandrin comes back. This is the first of like 3 scenes where she basically has a fascination with Nynaeve.
she
right?
apparently
But
is just
if
trying
Aes
to
Sedai
ask
don't know
questions.
that they can't sense the ability in others, is she just got the hots for Nynaeve?
She's trying to pick her for
I think
questions
she's
about what
looking for
Moraine is doing.
information on
Yeah.
Moraine to try and implicate her.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
It's completely stupid. It would make way more sense if she just could sense Nynaeve could channel and is like trying to, get her into the Reds.
But it's like even the next episode, it feels like she's trying to recruit Nynaeve.
We're about
I guess at that point they know
she's trying to recruit him to the Red Aja,
but that's when they know they can channel. But anyways,
yeah.
Here we go. Back to the not main characters.
Wait a second. Can we pause here? This looks like fucking backwoods Kentucky, or am I wrong?
Oh, you're 100% right.
Yes.
It's a little too sparse.
Or is this more?
It's a little too sparse.
More
West, too brown, I think.
West Virginia.
West Virginia is what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Because this is not like, just like how Breen Spring screamed to me kind of a industrial revolution mining town rather than a fantasy setting. This right here, honestly, like maybe it's an actual farm in the Czech Republic, but this screams kind of 20th century West Virginia, dilapidated, blue painted barn. Like the architecture is all wrong. Everything about this is all fucking wrong. This is not medieval at all.
I just like
we don't have buildings like this.
I just like how we got our second sort of like sweet duster / robe. I get third actually duster / robe out of the 3 characters in this scene.
This honestly, this looks like October Sky. It doesn't look like fucking Wheel of Time. Great fucking movie, by the way.
Honestly, Tom's character right now would be a real solid Harry Dresden, a real shitty Tom Maryland.
I was thinking that is a Harry Dresden looking duster.
Disagree. Harry Dresden's duster is awesome, and this is corduroy.
Also, Harry Dresden is actually like 6'5", and this dude is probably like 5'4".
Dresden thinks his duster is a lot better than it actually is.
That's true. It's probably shabby as shit.
I don't know.
Probably. It's been in every firefight he's ever been in.
He got a new one from his half vampire chick that he later killed. It's fine.
October
Tristan
Sky.
Files, fucking
Sure-
awesome.
I'm sure it was new for approximately
7
4
seconds.
days before he
October-
blew something up on it.
How is Amazon not remaking Dresden Files?
Thank God.
That is
October Sky is an anagram for Rocket Boys. There, I said it.
All right.
okay.
Be out before sunrise. Wouldn't it be easier to just
I love that movie. Yeah, there's fucking Mandar.
a better rider?
Figured you for a black horse race. This mare's afraid of her own shadow.
A man could get suspicious of strangers in his
The fuck? Where did these ninjas come from?
They just walked from that direction and have been here for 7 seconds.
Stage left.
Oh,
Keep playing for just like a half second. Let's see the grip. Let's see the grip.
We're just passing through.
Most people stay on their horse for that.
Yeah.
Busted to shit.
Yeah.
Still not as busted to shit as Rand in that first episode, though.
It's
Okay.
who's an archery expert? I'm not.
I'm not an
I mean,
archery
I
expert.
can tell you this: you want to hold it with
Vertical?
your vertical, obviously.
The
but
bowstring pulled
your
to your
pointer finger
chest.
should be on top of the arrow. Your middle finger and your ring finger should be below the arrow, and you want to hold the string as straight vertically as possible on the first knuckle.
Wait. Maybe he's gangster and he's holding his weapon sideways.
That's a kill shot.
Yes.
Kill shot.
He is
Next point.
legitimately doing the archery equivalent of the gangster shoot. Like
Nice.
unless his
Damn, it
like-
feels good to be a gangster, right?
yeah, unless his arm is just ridiculously like long, that string is like hitting his side and his chest, and
There's no tension on that. That's why I was like, look at the bow, and like, there's no tension on that. That would barely go anywhere. I do want to say though, just a quick question. Just a quick question
So Rand
for the
would
chat.
say, "You're not looking to kill me because the way you're holding that bow, you cannot pull it farther back than your fucking
Yes.
sternum."
Yes.
My goodness.
well, he's gonna point out the hand on holding the arrow.
Yeah.
Rather than you're holding your fucking bow sideways like you're retarded.
His foot placement is wrong. Look at that. Like you can tell from his posture.
Yeah.
If he let go of the string, the arrow would flip uselessly to the ground about
Yes.
6 feet away.
Yes. It's also
He
you can
probably
tell by the
bruised
arrow.
shit out of his left forearm.
Maybe. I don't think there's enough tension on the
if there's
string
enough.
for that. But if there was, yeah, he'd hurt himself. This is the second qualification of someone with a weapon more dangerous to him than anyone else this episode.
And Matt just saying we're just passing through. Then why'd you get off your fucking horse? That was ADO's point in the
That's
chat.
a good point. That's a good
Why
point.
did
The
they
farmer,
dismount?
The farmer is right to be suspicious. You should not
Yeah.
trust these people. I just want to point out that I think that dude is also wearing what appears to be a sort of terry cloth bathrobe.
It's
Oh my
supposedly
God,
a
that
gambeson.
fabric.
That's
Every
that's supposed to be
character-
Gambison.
Every character is just wearing a fucking bathrobe.
But wait, how are we supposed to tell where people are from if they all dress the same?
Get that.
Okay.
I think I have
That
a
grip-
dish. I think I have a dish towel in that material.
Okay, but the grip
It's
actually
high-
looks a little better in this scene, though.
No.
He's
it's
holding the
just-
bow
It's
more
still-
upright.
It's still busted. I mean, he's still holding it on
No,
his
I'm not-
second knuckle, but
He's also
yeah.
pointing it at the ground. Like look at where his eyes are pointed, and look at where the arrow is clearly pointed. He is like at the equivalent of port arms. Like that is not a threatening posture. They could lunge forward and swat the bow out of his hands before he'd be able to raise, draw, and loose.
But he is more threatening than Dana the Dark Friend, and that's Trip's point from
Well,
the chat.
that's
So
only
why
'cause
aren't
he's-
they running away, and why aren't we doing Benny Hill music?
I mean, he's only more threatening because he has a beard that looks like it should be in RRR.
We're gonna
Nice.
talk about Matt going for his dagger here.
You mean because
Do
they
we
haven't
have to?
introduced anything other than the fact that he's a piece of shit, and so like, yeah, Matt's just gonna about to stab this dude
Matt is about to kill a man
for protecting
because
his
he's
farm.
trying.
Uh,
I'm sorry. We haven't been honest with you.
Fuck off,
We were
Rand.
going to rescue
Hey,
your
right
bike.
there,
Shall
Alex.
I?
Didn't you point out before the weird fact that Rand's sword goes through his jacket?
Yes, they intentionally have cut his coat into thirds on the tails so that it goes through. Like it's
Wait,
like a
he's
suit jacket.
Look at the
so
sword.
he's got the ass flap. He doesn't have like the single cut. He's
Yes,
got the two cut ass
Yes.
flap jacket,
yes,
but it's like an extra long coat.
yes.
Yep.
Just
Nobody else's coats. We see 3 other bathrobes in this shot. No one else's.
hey, I want to take a quick straw poll. I know we got the 4 of us on here, but whenever reading Wheel of Time, did you ever picture Rand wearing this type of overcoat?
No, not even.
Oh,
I mean, I assumed that they didn't have American Eagle in Randland at the time, so yeah, no, I never pictured him.
It's not American. You put this coat anywhere. You put this in Abercrombie and Fitch. You put it in American Eagle. You put it wherever the fucking kids get their clothes these days. The Gap, is that cool again? Fuck if I know. This coat would not sell. It now or any age in history. This is probably the worst fucking coat ever designed.
Worst coat, I might agree with you. I'm going to say it might be the best piece of overwear in this shot. I, I still maintain that they got Matt's bathrobe out of a homeless man's bin in San Francisco, wiped the shit off it, and handed it to him.
Maybe that's why he left the show.
Look how
You want me to wear
absolutely,
this?
look how absolutely shit Matt looks.
He's on heroin. Rand is not much better.
He literally looks like a fucking tweaker.
God.
You'd have never known we were there.
Gonna hide in your fucking West Virginia
They want to kill
barn.
us. If you did, you draw that bow with your fingertips, not your fist.
Fuck off, Rand.
And if I wanted to kill you,
Matt is
Could you?
seriously getting ready to fucking go with
Yeah.
this guy.
okay.
Even Tom is looking at him like, dude, I know I just stabbed a chick in the throat, but like, chill.
So professional negotiating tip.
just now.
Fuck. Okay. Master Grinwell, you're a fucking idiot.
Okay. So professional
Because
negotiating tip: do not
No.
ever start a sentence with the phrase "if I wanted to kill you."
I know that was really
Don't do that.
What do you say, love?
he had more assassins, more ninjas.
We saw that angle though. We saw that angle when they had bows pointed behind them.
Yep.
Right?
Should be noted that
More teleporting.
the boy right there was definitely ready to kill one of them. Good for him.
But both the boy and the woman are actually holding him right.
Yeah.
I will
They
say
should
this
have done
fucking-
it too.
this fucking
'Cause-
homestead is based as fuck. The modern equivalent of an AR-15 for every man, woman, and child.
But given what they did,
Actually, shit. No, look at the kid holding it. He's got a fist on the string too. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, but he's a kid. You can make exceptions for the kid.
he's also got the same fabric on his coat, I think.
Probably.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
my picture quality isn't good enough, but
Plus side, that was a woman
It's
wearing
not like
a
these
dress.
people had any farming to do. Anyways, we can pause here. I think this is where I had originally scoped out our first third of the episode. I don't think we want to do another idiotic Leandrin and Nynaeve scene. So it did take us a while. This is the longest episode. We kind of got through everything we wanted to go through today. So let me pass it over to you guys if we have any final thoughts for this part of the rewatch?
Last thoughts. Just dumbfounded by the lack of Rand in this episode. Just baffled by the decision making process that went into the show. But I feel like we've beaten that point up about as much as
David
is
Hill.
justified.
David Hill, you gave him credit at the start, felt empathetic, and then you realized, no, that guy's a fucking hack.
So Alex, remember that this same episode is gonna come back to Rand, Matt, and Tom for the farmhouse scene with the fade and the conversation about Owen and all that kind of stuff. So like this episode is not devoid of Rand and Matt and Tom. It's not completely devoid of them. I think that we're getting a little bit of a disproportionate look based on the start of this episode being focused on Logain. Because really, if my memory is correct, the start and finish of this episode are very much on the Aes Sedai and Logain, and the middle is mostly Rand and Matt with a little bit of Perrin and Egwene mixed in. In terms of kind of my thoughts on this before we hand it back to our guest here, I just feel like that this seems like something that on its face was supposed to be like exciting and moving, but like we've gone through the first third of this episode, and even this part has so much just like useless, boring filler dialogue, exposition by dialogue that it's just boring. And so yeah, you have the cold open that is sort of action oriented, and that I think fools you into thinking that there's a pace, that something's happening. And then rewatching this, it's like just people talking and more people talking and more people talking, and then Lan doing Tai Chi with Steppen, and then more people talking. It's boring.
Yeah, and I think there's if I remember correctly, there's like really not much going on with Rand and Matt in the middle of this episode. Like I think there's one in between scene, and then Matt sleepwalks over to the Fade. So I legit don't think there's even like
Yeah.
there's any real
next-
Matt and Rand to chew
next
on.
rewatch.
There's a
rewatch, we'll see.
Brigitte doll scene coming up, but
Oh, that's right. There's the
but that's
we
it.
have
Like
to- yeah.
there's more shielding. There's more Warder sex jokes. There's like
Oh, I
three
forgot
fucking
about the Warder
scenes of
sex
Leandrin
jokes.
talking with Nynaeve. Like
I forgot about
I'm
the
not
Warder
even
sex
lying.
jokes in the middle of this episode. Yeah, all right. Well, we'll see next episode. All right.
And
Kala?
anyway,
Yeah.
over to Kalah.
Okay.
Kalah.
Okay. So I really liked Logain in the books because Logain is this horribly tragic figure who
Yeah,
just
and
has
he's a fucking
ten-
vamp.
he has in the books he talks to Rand at one point and he says, "Yeah, the pattern wanted a dragon and I just came too early. But I don't want to be the dragon. I would never trade places with you because you've got it worse than me." And that's kind of the point of Logain in the book was always a stepping stone of this is Logain, but the real dragon is, he's 10 times as strong, but he has to go through 10 times as much suffering. And Logain that's not what they set him up. They just hit him off on the wrong stride. All this religious symbolism, they set up Logain and they said, "Hey, look, Logain maybe is the dragon, except we don't understand show writing, so we've undercut any
Yeah.
kind of momentum he could have had at this point." And
No,
it's only going to
this
get
is a
worse
good
from this
point.
point onwards.
So they already introduced a fucking Who is the Dragon Reborn mystery with it could be any one of these four, and it could be a boy or a girl. So let's throw Egwene in there. And then they go on to they proceed to add Nynaeve to the pot. And now they're adding Logain additionally, even though he's like 43 and maybe he's a dragon candidate. And they do it deliberately, right? Because they cut from that one scene where Matt and Rand are talking
It's
about
it's
the Dark Friend said there were 5. Who is the 5th?
it's
And
a
then
it's a very clear choice on their part. And the funny thing is that that Robert Jordan explicitly in the books never gave the impression that it could have been Logain. Logan's first in, Logan Logan's first introduction is I'm not the dragon. I could never be
Yeah.
the dragon when he sees the real dragon. And the line that he uses gets chucked to Nynaeve later in this episode.
Hmm.
And he's just, oh yeah, no, it's Nynaeve is the power of the sun, which is just the
It's
fantasy needs these characters who are not heroes, but they're not villains either. They're just people in the wrong place at the wrong time, which is what Logain initially was.
Hmm.
And then he becomes a hero later, but that's later.
the greatest of all, right? He had a good arc, right?
He had an amazing arc.
Would have had if but for Sando, but and Andral.
Sando gave him a good ending.
Eh,
Um,
eh.
He had nothing to do with the last battle because, yeah, he should
Andral was
he should
doing
have
everything,
been
and then there
he
he
should have been
saved a
liberating the
village,
tower.
or
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought he was done dirty at the end, but neither here nor there. I thought Logain was a good side character. I would never have devoted one of my episodes to him in a show like that. But
not
I would
this
have
early. Not
I
this early.
I would have done so much different with him. And I would have done so much different on this show.
Camelin, you could have had Camelin with this episode.
Well,
Yeah.
just wait because we got Steppen coming up. Remember Steppen, the guy who looked
No,
more like a clerk than a warder,
no,
and
no one.
could play his 12-string bittern as skillfully as any gleeman with his sad blue eyes, or is
Brown
it gray
eyes.
eyes?
Sad-
Brown eyes.
sad
Yeah,
brown
sad brown
eyes.
eyes. Except he's got blue eyes in the show, so they couldn't even get that right. I should know this. I mean the fuck out of this,
They
but
didn't have a budget for contacts. They blew it all on the wigs.
and going to fucking Iberia, southern Portugal for finding a castle to do a dumb fucking Saracen scene.
Just build a set. It looks terrible. Next time, just build a set and CG the rest.
I wouldn't trust them to build anything.
Yeah,
They
but
built
the problem is that you can't update your Instagram or whatever it is they're using with all the season 2 shots. They're just, oh, we wrapped up shooting in this exotic locale. Everyone care about us.
All right, I think we're getting far afield here. I don't know. I don't have anything else to
We are.
say. About this episode that we watched. Anybody got anything?
No, man. All I'm saying is, if this was the best fucking episode 4, we just covered the first third of it. This thing is fucking hot garbage on stilts. And anyone who defends the show, likes it because of this, says this is good TV, you guys are on fucking crack. And I said my piece.
Your statement doesn't preclude it being the best episode, just to be clear.
No, it doesn't. But it does preclude the show being good.
True.
You say, this is the best episode. Look at this episode. The show's good. You're on crack.